In November, I finished 5 books, and truthfully, I had such a good reading month. I enjoyed everything that I was reading. So let's get into these and see what I read. Let's go over some stats for the month. I read 1,737 pages over the course of 5 books. Out of those 5 books, I had 2 thrillers, 2 mysteries, 2 fantasy, and 1 contemporary. I had an average rating of 4.4 stars, with 2 books getting 4 stars, 2 books getting 4.5 stars, and 1 book getting 5 stars. The first book that I read was People Like Her, and this book I have had since December 2020. This is a Book of the Month, December 2020 edition. It is part of, on TikTok and Instagram, I have a page-by-page series where I'm attempting to read down my physical TBR, because currently I have about 150 books unread, and I'd rather 150 books that I've read to be on my shelf. So currently working them down. That series will be moved to this channel very shortly. But this is one of the books from there, and I love this book so much. This book follows Emmy Jackson, who is a mommy blogger on Instagram, and while she is portraying this perfect life that she has, this perfectly messy life, I should say, she doesn't want to appear perfect. She doesn't want to appear like she has her life put together on Instagram, because what gets more views is the messy, the embarrassing stories, the oh my god, I had no time to get the cookies ready for the bake sale, here's me buying some pre-made and pretending I made them kind of things. And while millions and millions of people are following her, one is actually following her in real life. And this is the story of how this stalker that she has keeps following her and keeps coming into her home, coming into her life, getting really close with people around her, and really the dangers of posting your family and your small children onto social media. This is a thriller, and it really comes full circle really, really nicely, and so many little things start happening and start appearing, and I was on the edge of my seat throughout majority of this. I'm still fairly new into the thriller genre, so truthfully I don't know if I would have seen some things coming if I have read more thrillers. I stay more on the mystery side of that genre, but I just adored this book, and it has been one of my most anticipated reads for the last 4 years now, and I am so glad that I finally read it. My second read was The Guest List, and this is another Book of the Month thriller. This is by Lucy Foley, who I know is a super popular thriller author. It's my first book by her, and I love this book. This is an even older edition of Book of the Month, but I'm working them down. This is from April 2020, and this is also part of my page-by-page project. In this one, we have a remote wedding on the coast of Ireland, on a small island off of the coast of Ireland, and the guests are coming to celebrate Jules and Will. However, right in the beginning, we learn that someone has been murdered. We don't know who. We just hear the scream, and throughout it, we are now seeing the day before the wedding, and all these secrets from our 5 main characters are starting to come out, and how their lives piece together more than just being wedding guests. And we're slowly learning all this backstory and all of this secrets and things that people want to keep hidden away. And it was such a good book, and the one thing that I'm really enjoying about reading thrillers is that the time that the book takes place does not have to be long. This was really set over the course of 2 days. And the amount of details and information that we got from those 2 days about these characters, that really made me hope that, that it wasn't this person murdered or this person wasn't the murderer. And it really it kept my fascination and my attention the entire time, and I just couldn't wait to keep reading. And truly, I really enjoyed both of these thrillers this month, and I cannot wait to dive more into this genre and to see what other thrillers I end up liking in the future. So the next books that I read was I did the tandem read of Empire of Storm and Tower of Dawn for the Throne of Glass series. This was an insane amount of pages to read. Together, this comes up to 1,200 pages, and it took me about 4 weeks to actually read both of these books. I am loving the Throne of Glass series. This is my first time reading it, and I only now have one left, which I will be reading come January, because I'm giving myself a little tiny break. I have read the first 7 books in the Throne of Glass series in the last 2 months, so I'm giving myself a little break before jumping into the last book, but I am so excited to delve deeper into this world and to find out how this is going to conclude, because I am so deep into it. I am loving so many of these characters, and I cannot wait to get more into the finale. I am going to wait until I finish the very last book to give an entire spoiler review. But so far, I will just say that I gave this book 4.5 stars and this book 5 stars, which I was so surprised about because this is not following my favorite character of this series, but I just fell in love with the complexity and all of the new characters that we have been introduced to. So this one did get a little higher rating, but I have just been enjoying this series so much, and I cannot wait to continue. My final book is Santa's Little Yelpers. I am such a huge David Rosenfeld fan. This series, if you have not heard of it, which it truly is not that popular on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, I have not seen really anyone talk about this book or this series. So I will be the one to gracefully introduce you to it. This is the Andy Carpenter mystery series, and in it we follow a lawyer, Andy Carpenter, who really wants to be retired. It's not working out. He keeps getting these cases. He's a defense attorney, and he's really sarcastic. All of the prosecutors and judges can't stand him, and we get to actually see inside of the courthouse. We get to see the trial go on. We hear his opening statements. We see him interviewing witnesses, and it's really an interesting play of a mystery book. He does have his own investigative team, which allows him to actually also solve these mysteries of what actually happened that day. And as a defense attorney, he believes his client is going to be innocent. So he's really showing like what actually happened with these crimes. And these books are they're very a wholesome mystery. They all are dog themed. The dogs are not very prevalent in the story. In this case, a golden retriever just had puppies at the rescue foundation that Andy runs. And our suspect was taking care of the puppies at his house. So that's where the puppies come into play in this one. Andy has 3 dogs by this point in the series: a golden retriever, a basset hound, and a little Frenchie. And they have very few cameos, but enough that keeps you interested in them throughout the series. And I have read so many books by him at this point. I have a lot more to read. I eventually want to read the entirety of his backlist, and he comes out with, for this series, 2 books a year. So I really need to catch up because they just keep coming out. And you don't really need to read them in order. They explain enough throughout them. At this point, I mostly read them in order. Besides like the backlist, that's really hard to find. But it's such a good series, and I really wish more people knew about them. And all the covers are really cute, and they look really good on my shelf, so I'm not complaining about that. They're not all Christmas related. About half of them are, but I was in a Christmassy mood. I was ready for the fall to end and for it to get nice and cold so I could curl up with a blanket and read a book, and this was the perfect book for that. Stay tuned because I do have a lot of reading challenges planned and a lot of really fun video ideas that will be coming out in December. I am so excited to be starting this booktube journey, and thank you so much if you are still watching at this point. Please be sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what your favorite book of November was.